everyone. Thank you for introducing yourself. So, my name is Hans de Kretser. I'm director at HDK. I am a male in my mid-50s, bald, cropped hair, trimmed beard with a little grey flex to one side. Today, I'm wearing a polka dot blue bow tie. HDK, if this is your first HDK webinar, a very warm welcome. Of course, that welcome is extended to anyone who's been to our webinars before. Thank you for coming and joining us again. But if you don't know who HDK are, we are an agency. We've been running 20 years. We work in the arts, culture and heritage sector. We build websites. We do digital marketing campaigns and strategies. So that's the background. Today we're going to cover a number of trends for 2025. And I woke up this morning and I realized this is the 5th December webinar we've done covering trends for the next year. We started these webinars back in the lockdown, and I can't believe that we've got to our 5th forecast predictions webinar already. So that amazes me, really. But we're going to cover a number of trends today. We've got 12 for you. Different team members are going to champion different trends. And I say trends, I mean that very loosely. They're going to be trends here based on stats that we've seen. They're going to be focuses on predictions that are based on anecdotal evidence that we've seen, some feedback from clients, things that we've seen in requests for proposals, all of those sorts of things, and things that are close to our heart as well, I guess. So we're going to pick out 12 of those. We're going to do something after that we did last year as well. We're going to ask you to share what you think is going to be the big topic for 2025. What are the things that are going to cause the biggest impact in the arts, culture and heritage sectors? So if you want to fully participate in that, you'll need your mobile phone to hand. We'll give you a QR code to scan and you'll be able to do a live interaction with our word cloud poll. And we've got some workarounds if that doesn't work, if you can't use your phone and a QR reader as well. And then we'll do some housekeeping at the end. So today we're going to cover 12 trends. First of all, I'm going to pick up the trends that we highlighted last year. So this is the poll that we did last year. We used Slido to gather your thoughts. We asked the question, what trends in digital marketing will most impact the UK arts, culture and heritage sectors in 2024? And you might not be surprised to see right in the middle of that is AI. We first mentioned AI in our December 22 webinar predictions. And I'm so glad we managed to slip that one in, because 2023 was the breakout year. It continued last year, and spoiler alert, I suspect it will be a factor next year as well. But some other things that amused me here. I'm interested to see the decline of Twitter was one that was popular with the attenders at the webinar last year. I'm interested to say, would we have called it the decline of Twitter this year? If it comes up, it will be X. I think we've got our heads around the fact that it's now called X, formerly Twitter. There's some contrasts in there as well. We've got influencer marketing at the top, and then at the bottom we can see the decline of the influencer. So which one was it in 2024, and where will that go next year? So those are the topics that you picked out at the end of last year. These are the ones that we're going to address this year. Quickly, we've got some social media topics. We're going back to AI again. We've got UI, UX topics around websites. We've got other technology. We've got audiences. We've got cybersecurity, and we've got some e-commerce and some design topics in there as well. We've also got a bonus one. Our creative director, Raf, has been revealing what the colour of the year is each year, and that's become something that's hotly anticipated. So we'll end up with that one. So we've got 12 trends there for you today. It's 12 days to Christmas. There's 12 days of Christmas. And with that, I'll hand over to Phoebe.
Thank you, Hans. I'm Phoebe. I am a white woman in my 30s. I have blonde hair, which I'm wearing up today. And I'm wearing a kind of gold sparkly cardigan with red lipstick because I'm getting into the festive spirit. Also, just an apology up top. I am full of cold, so just bear that in mind, please. So the trend I am predicting for next year is the polarization of mainstream social media. So, as we know, traditional or print media publications have long been known for their political leanings. So, papers like The Telegraph or The Times, we understand that they lean to the right. The Guardian and The Independent lean left. And papers like the Financial Times and The Economist sit somewhere in the middle. And until more recently, mainstream social media platforms have remained seemingly neutral on the surface, with more extreme communities gathering slightly beneath the surface on platforms like 4chan. But when Elon Musk acquired Twitter/X, it wasn't long until his policies started dramatically transforming the social media landscape. So, with his mass reinstatement of previously banned accounts and content moderation favoring freedom of speech, there's been an undeniable rise in extreme and hateful content on X. For example, anti-Semitic tweets have doubled since Musk's takeover of the platform. But what does that mean for the future and for those of us working in digital marketing? If you're on any social media platform at all, there's a high chance you'll be aware that a huge number of people working in the arts and media industries have abandoned X in favor of a platform called Blue Sky. So unlike X, Blue Sky has much stricter moderation policies, and it allows you to control what you see, which suggests two main reasons for this recent mass exodus towards the platform. Number one, people don't want to be confronted with extreme hateful content on social media. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. And number two, people don't really want to support the individual behind a platform if that person's views oppose their own. So what I'm personally really interested in observing next year is how the social media landscape evolves on a political level. Will we see more social media platforms becoming polarized in this way, as we do with the kind of newspaper system we have here in the UK? And is that kind of separation a positive thing, or does it risk stunting social progress? I would love to know what you think. So my question to you is on screen. Should organizations and digital marketers actively choose platforms that align with their values? So that's a yes, no question. If you could put Y or N in the chat, whatever you think, it will be really interesting to get a general consensus. Wow.
Gosh, that's really interesting, isn't it, Phoebe?
Yeah, very, very clear. And I think this just echoes, this kind of mass exodus to Blue Sky. It sends a very clear message to, the owners of these platforms that if you are going to lean a certain way, not everybody's going to come with you. Amazing. Thank you.
Can I just ask another bonus question on that? I'm really interested because we're always watching the rise of new platforms. You mentioned Blue Sky. I'd love to know how many people here have already set up a Blue Sky account, just to sort of get a sense of that. So maybe put me instead of this one, instead of Y2. Yeah.
It's also interesting just to kind of add to see a couple of no's, and I saw somebody commented it's whisked away, but somebody said that we can't exist in echo chambers.
Yeah.
And I think I might lean towards that view, but I'm not sure because I also don't want to support people I don't like. It's a difficult one. But thank you guys for your interaction.
Thank you, everyone. So I'm looking at the next topic. I'm Bella, and I'm a white woman in my 20s. I've got short, dark brown hair, and I'm wearing a leather jacket, and I've got a bookshelf and a little Christmas tree in the background. So my topic's about building intentional communities online, which I think leads on quite nicely from Phoebe's point and from all those comments that you've put in the chat there. And a lot of us might be rethinking our social media platforms in the coming year. So this is a really good chance to consider whether your marketing tools are actually reaching your audiences effectively. So in 2025, I think we might see more organizations expand into platforms that allow you to really own your audiences and communicate with purpose rather than playing to that dreaded algorithm. And we've seen a lot of other industries take this up recently, like music and sports. And I'm going to run through a couple of tools that you might see used more often in 2025, or that you might even want to try it yourself. And I'm starting off with WhatsApp, where there is a tool called Channels, where you can create a big group message with subscribers to share your updates and links directly. Followers can't respond to you on this, but they can react to your messages. And back in March, just this year, the England football teams set up Channels as a really easy and quick way to share news and foster that community. But WhatsApp also has another tool called Broadcast, which lets you send out a mass message, but subscribers receive it more one-to-one, like a newsletter. And this also allows responses directly from subscribers, so that creates a bit of a more personal relationship with your fans. On to the next one. You'll likely have seen Instagram broadcasts popping up in the last year or so, and that's been another really popular tool in the music industry. But individual creators have started using this, I've definitely seen, to connect with their followers. And one benefit is obviously that you have this inbuilt following already in Instagram, who you can immediately invite to follow your broadcast. And then finally, we have Discord, which has been a bit more of a niche platform in recent years, and has a bit more of a barrier to entry, but could be used more and more to foster community with different fan bases. And so this trend for me isn't about abandoning those bigger platforms, but about diversifying your channels to offer a closer relationship with your audiences and to really own your communications rather than being at the mercy of those platforms and those algorithms. I've seen arts organizations start using these platforms, but imagine that they might be adopted on a bigger scale in 2025 when we're all really thinking and reimagining which platforms we put our energy into. And just to say also, it's not just for the bigger organizations who have lots and lots of followers. There are definitely ways that smaller organizations can run with this more direct communication tactic, whether that's just a WhatsApp group to engage local artists, or even more tailored newsletter segmentation to speak to what your fans are interested in.
Great. Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I'm Fizz. I'm a white woman in my 20s. I have long brown hair and I'm wearing a white fluffy cardigan today. And I also have a Christmas tree in the background. I'm going to be talking about employee generated content as my trend this year, also known as EGC. You might have heard of it before. It's exactly as it sounds, and it refers to marketing content that uses your own employees as central to your strategy. So you're utilizing resources that you already have. This has been growing in popularity for a while, especially in 2024, especially with the rise of more casual platforms such as TikTok. So I was reading this article on Forbes recently, and I think that this is a really interesting quote saying that EGC is a powerful and cost-effective tool for creating authentic connections and building a positive brand reputation. And I really believe that in a time when people are craving authenticity, EGC is a really great way to get that across in your social media strategy and engage your audiences to make them feel like they're part of your community rather than someone that you're just trying to sell to. So on the screen here, I've got some screenshots of some examples of EGC. So on the left, you've got the Royal Armouries Museum. This is one of their curators doing a tour using a Gen Z style marketing script. And this video actually got 9 million views on their TikTok, which is amazing. You've got an example from the Globe in the center. They do a lot of EGC content. And then on the right, you've got the lovely HDK TikTok. So we're really lucky that in the arts that so many of us work with big entertaining personalities. So you can really use these to your advantage to help you create bold online personas within your social media channels. And it's no longer just about influencers creating person-centered content. This is really something that any members of your team can get involved with. I think a real benefit to employee-generated content, or EGC, is that it might take some convincing, but your entire team can really get involved. And especially if you work in a big organization with lots of different departments that don't necessarily get to cross over, this gives you a chance to all work together on something fun And you can use it as a bit of a team building exercise and bringing your employees closer together. And now we're going to move on to Yannick.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yannick. I'm technical lead and developer here at HTK. I'm a white man with bright blue eyes, not much hair on the top of my head, and a beard. I'm sitting in an office with books and boxes behind me, and I'm wearing an orange t-shirt. So AI agents. So this trend is about our workflow and how we work. So we've seen AI massively change the landscape of tech this year, and we're seeing AI adoption in lots of different areas. And AI is good. It can do a lot, but I think as we've seen, often it's good, but not great. And it needs some treating, it needs consideration. There's some tasks that it's particularly suited to, but we all know, and I think love talking about the stories where AI has made something up or it's completely in the wrong. Something that's key to that I think what everyone's finding is that it can augment our abilities and we can offload tasks to it. So we can then increase our own bandwidth, our own capacity to do other things. And there are lots of different types of AI services out there. So we're beginning to see a trend of people using different AI services for their tasks. For example, what if we began to think of them as different agents? So what if you had a marketing agent, a copywriting agent, a technical agent? What if you went to different AI services to do different things? You went to somewhere specific for copywriting. You went to something specific for search, for example. And we actually already do this with other software. So if you think about it, if you want to write some documents, where do you go? Do you go to Word? Do you go to Google Docs? Do you go to another text editor? What about your project management software? What kind of project management software are you using? What about your messaging apps? So we all have our preferred services, and they give us different benefits and different ways of interacting, even though they do a very similar thing. Some are better at other things. So what's out there at the moment? There's lots of different AI services already. I think we all know ChatGPT, but also there's Copilot, there's Claude, Perplexity, and there's lots of different ones that are used for lots of different things. So I'd like to leave this with a question, which is, what AI services are you using at the moment? And what are you using them for? So if you find the chat and then just pop in, are you mainly using ChatGPT? Are you using something else for different things? What are you using for image generation? Are you using image generation? I think this is an interesting one to look at now and then see in the future or in a year's time, what other services will be used. It's interesting because also if there's any technical people in here, there's particularly good different coding agents that can be used, and they're good for different reasons, and they're good for different Gemini, ChatGPT. We're seeing a lot of ChatGPT, alt text, beautiful. This is a great one. Yeah. Great. Well, it's really interesting. I think that if we ask this next year, it'd be interesting to compare to see what type of agents we're using. But that was AI agents and our workflow. And now over to Levita.
Hi, I'm Levita. I'm an Indian woman with black and gray hair that is tied up, and I'm wearing a red jumper today. So Yannick's touched on some of the AI tools that are quite commonly used. And we've seen an increase in the tools available, from image and text generators to content and code generators, and some were even mentioned in the chat, so that's great. Most of the traditional software tools that we use in our day-to-day lives have now incorporated a form of AI. So for example, in the project management tools, Asana and Trello, you can now use AI to automate routine tasks, provide summaries of projects, and to help understand the key points without having to go through the lengthy task descriptions that have been left. With the rise of AI tools and the demand for them comes the demand for an increase in data centers and data center capacity. This then means there's a rise in energy that's needed to power them. This is now set to account for 1 to 2% of energy-related greenhouse gas emissions. Also, as AI becomes more clever, it requires more power. The International Energy Agency estimates that by 2026, the electricity needed to power these data centers will be more than double 2022 levels. This is equaling Japan's current total electricity consumption. The tasks that require the most energy are those that generate new content, such as text or images. In the past decade, internet traffic has increased, yet power usage from data centers has risen only slightly. We may just see this trend continue with AI, one to look out for. The biggest cloud companies, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they all have internal targets and emission and renewable energy that they need to meet. They've also signed deals for using renewable energies to power data centers. Using AI can be used to automate and optimize tasks, which in the long run helps to reduce carbon emissions, but only if it's used responsibly. So for 2025, we predict that there will be a trend of users being more cautious on how and when they use AI. More companies will be putting in place responsible AI policies, educating employees and training their employees on the most efficient ways to use AI. And companies will invest more in using energy efficient equipment, such as laptops with a high Energy Star rating can play a role in minimizing power usage and AI computation. Okay.
Thank you, Lavita. Hi, I'm Kay. I'm wearing gray sweatshirt and a sparkly Rudolph ears. I wanted to talk about gamification UX UI for the 2025 trend. And I would like to use this time to celebrate my 100-day streak in Duolingo's. Thank you. But I'm still not fluent in Italian. But I did visit the app for 100 days without missing a beat. And this made me wonder what made me keep using the app. And I think it's the gamification element of the app. It's applying game design elements and principles in non-gaming context to increase user engagement and motivation. So example within the Duolingo would be having points, having awards, having leaderboards. It's to tell you where you are on the boards, levels, rewards, and they sometimes give you challenges with your friends. It gives you a sense of achievement. It motivates you to rejoin the app every single day, like I did. The gamification market size is estimated to be around $15 billion in 2024 and around $48 billion in 2029. So it is already a big market and is estimated to be much more bigger in the future. And what does this mean for cultural organizations? We suggest using gamification UX on sections where boosting engagement would be essential. So for example, it would be learning pages, community programs, pages about donations. One example I can think of is giving reward badges for reading X amount of resources in the gallery collections. What would be worth noting is that it needs to have the sense of autonomy for the users. So it's not forcing them to engage, but it's motivating them. It's their choice to engage with your page. And it has to be related to your content. And also there needs to be a sense of challenges, competence, which is the element of gaming. And over to Katie.
Thanks, Kay. And as someone who's on a 15-day streak with Duolingo, that's really inspirational. So thank you for that. I am a middle-aged white woman. I'm wearing a bright yellow jumper and I have short brown hair and glasses. So I'm not actually going to be talking about a trend today, but I'm going to be suggesting a New Year's resolution for us all in 2025. I'm suggesting that we all put time aside in the new year to journey through our websites like customers, all the different types of customers who are likely to use your sites. Someone with small children, an elderly person, someone who wants to buy tickets, people interested in hiring rooms, producers bringing a show to your theatre, people with additional access needs, or with large bags, or simply in need of a coffee. When we start building a website at HDK, the process begins with thinking about the customer. We spend ages working with the client on their target audiences, developing personas and considering the different ways people navigate the site. At every stage of development, we go back to the target visitors to check that we're meeting their needs. But not many of us have a brand new site to work with. Our websites have had to pull their weight for many years. Things may have got out of date. Our brand voice has been lost in constant updates. So think of your users. You can use the existing segments, Audience Agency's Audience Spectrum, or Morris Hargreave McIntyre's Culture segments. Or why not make up your own based on your box office data or simple observations and discussions with colleagues? One prediction I will make for 2025 is that the audience segments we're expecting as part of Arts Council England's Illuminate programme will still not have been introduced. Recently, we were working with Liberty Ip at the Museum of the Home on their new site, and we used audience spectrum categories as our starting point, but refined them to match the museum's visitor profile. We created audience personas for their main visitor segments and worked these up into really detailed portraits. For experience seekers, we created a personality, we called them Alex, and we really examined their art and cultural life. And then we applied that to the website journey, looking at their actions, goals and experiences, feelings and thoughts, pain points and opportunities. And as you can see, we created a really detailed analysis of how Alex would engage with the site. This is something that you can easily do in-house. Run through user journeys, identify where the potential clashes come, how to signpost key information for different users, and how to tackle potential conflicts like tone of voice or imagery. So ask yourself, if I'm an academic and I want to look at your collection, can I find it easily and is the language appropriate for me? I'm a busy parent with 3 kids. Can I easily find out if you have a buggy park and somewhere we can have a picnic? I've already brought my tickets, but I just need to know if there's somewhere I can leave my backpack. Is it obvious? I'm a wheelchair user. Can I easily find out which entrance to use? So alongside our New Year's resolutions about more exercise and less chocolate, why not add in considering how your customers navigate your website and make the changes to make it simpler and more effective? And now I'm handing over to Victoria.
Perfect, thanks Katie. Hi everyone, I'm Victoria. I'm HDK's Web Support Coordinator. I'm a white woman in my mid-20s. I have long brown curly hair with a fringe, and today I'm wearing a blue turtleneck. So my trend for this year is digital experiences for Gen A. And recently I did a personality quiz to find out which Spirited Away character I am. The results, drumroll please, Yubaba. If you're familiar with the characters, you'll know that's a little bit of a scary realization to have. But if we're talking trends, what's scarier is how quickly Gen A are reshaping online spaces, trends and experiences. And it's exciting how digital spaces can adapt to their needs. So last week, Kay and I had the opportunity to go to the museums and tech conference in Birmingham and listen to some great talks about what's next in the digital space for arts, culture and heritage. So we built it and they came, a talk by Joe Duggan, the senior content producer at the V&A, discussed how they've been exploring how they can better involve Gen A, who are 10 to 14-year-olds, in what the V&A has to offer. So they created Mused, which is a digital hub that plays with art, design and pop culture in an interactive and inclusive way. Gen A are curious about trends, fast-paced interactions, humour and the political side of social media. And so with funding from the Bloomberg Digital Accelerator programme, Joe and team have created a gamified digital space for young people to explore within the realms of the V&A's offering. The platform's been built with input from young trend spotters and features dynamic content like quizzes, like the one I did recently, games and articles inspired by the V&A's collections. Popular topics include fashion, gaming, music, film, and activities ranging from which fashion core is your style, to identifying AI-generated images versus V&A objects. So this is not only something for Gen A, playfulness is obviously a great way to engage other user groups in your content, and I think we're going to see more of this starting to appear in 2025. Over to you, Zoe.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Zoe. I'm a white female with short blonde hair. I'm wearing a green woolen jumper, and I'm embracing the festive spirit with some silly little elf legs with bells on them on my head. So I'm going to talk about the rise of intentional technology use. As we're all aware, technology, it's built to pull us in and it's built to keep us scrolling. But people are really catching on. And there's a growing awareness of the negative effects technology is having on our mood, our focus, and our mental health. This is creating a shift towards intentional technology use. Using tools like Apple's Screen Time, Android's Digital Wellbeing, and apps like Freedom and Forest, people are starting to set limits, block distractions, and regain control over their use of technology. I'm sure lots of us here have our own rules and our own tools that we use to manage our relationship with devices, social media. I know mine's certainly becoming to stop taking Instagram to bed with me. So that's definitely a habit that needs to stop. So just moving on, it's more than just tools though. It's also a mindset. People are curating their digital lives. They're unfollowing content that doesn't serve them, and they're prioritizing what truly inspires and educates. But what does this really mean for us moving forward? Really, as users redefine their relationship with technology, the future is all about respecting boundaries, and it's about creating meaningful, user-focused experiences. You'll see here the National Theatre Live. I was just going to talk about a couple of arts organisations out there that are doing this really well. So National Theatre, they're a pioneer in making content more accessible and more curated through their NT Live initiative. I think I saw that someone's actually joined us today from NT Live, so that's nice that you can see this. Their digital platforms are streamlined and they're user-friendly, and their users don't find themselves overwhelmed with excessive features. Another great example of an arts organisation is Tate Galleries. On their site and across their sites, they emphasise minimalist design and clarity online, and they showcase their exhibitions in an engaging but efficient way. And then on another angle of how to manage intentional use is Art Fund UK. With Art Fund, they embrace intentional use of clear, actionable campaigns, and they inspire without being invasive. Going into 2025, our response to this rise of intentional technology use needs to move a lot higher up the agenda. My belief is that brands and organisations that embrace this shift will be the ones who thrive.
Thank you, Zoe. Very interesting. So my name is Linus. I am a web support developer here at HTK. I'm a man in my early 30s. I'm also bald. All the men but Raf, I think. I have a mustache. I'm wearing a green shirt. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit is cybersecurity. So first of all, how much do we think cybercrime has increased in 2024? If you just want to give me a percentage in the chat, just to start off. 25%, 50%, 20%, 50%, 50%. It's actually, according to Checkpoint, the third quarter of 2024 saw a whopping 75% increase from the same period in 2023 and a 15% uptick from the previous quarter, which is, I mean, it's absolutely huge. So website security is going to be a cornerstone of digital operations in 2025. So this is with the cyber threats becoming increasingly sophisticated with the rise of AI-powered cyber attacks. So these are things like deepfake phishing and, I mean, automated malware attacks. Securing websites is going to be absolutely critical for businesses. And website security is no longer just a technical necessity. It's a customer expectation because consumers are becoming more and more privacy conscious, and regulations like GDPR and CCPA they're tightening their grip. And compliance with these laws will demand robust security frameworks, from end-to-end encryption to proactive website monitoring. And neglecting these security things can lead to data breaches, it could lead to reputational damage, and even legal penalties. So a secure website builds trust, it ensures uninterrupted service, and it supports the long-term growth of your business. So in 2025, cybersecurity will evolve from a business cost to a value-driven investment. And organizations that prioritize security will not only protect themselves, but they're also going to contribute to a safer digital ecosystem for everyone. Embracing this mindset, it's no longer optional, it's absolutely essential. And if you have any concerns about your own website, please feel free to reach out to us here at HDK. We'd be very keen to help. I'm going to pass you over to Fiz again.
Hello again. I'm back this time to talk about the resurgence of in-app shopping as a second trend of mine. So we're all aware that online shopping is becoming more and more dominant, and has been for a long time. But have you ever shopped within a social media app itself? My second prediction for 2025 is that more people will begin shopping in apps such as TikTok and Instagram. Although Facebook and Instagram have seen a decent amount of success with in-app shopping, it's TikTok that's really taken the lead when it comes to how consumers are buying on social media, especially Gen Z. And I think I just saw a comment pop up saying, yes, I shop in TikTok all the time. In-app shopping, like I said, has been around for a while, 2014, then 2016 with Instagram. But in 2023, TikTok had more shoppers than Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest combined, with TikTok shoppers making an average of 10 purchases in the app last year. Currently, 58% of TikTok users are shopping in the app, and this is mainly Gen Z, meaning that worldwide, nearly 1 billion people are buying from TikTok Shop. In 2025, TikTok Shop is only on track to continue growing, and it'll be really interesting to see how consumer purchasing habits continue to develop as it becomes increasingly popular. So if you haven't seen TikTok Shop before, here is what it looks like on your phone. And you can easily go from a video advertisement of an item to the shopping window without ever having to leave the app. Any account can set themselves up on TikTok Shop. So in 2025, I think we'll see an increase in organizations and businesses using the platform to help diversify their income streams and support their commercial ventures. In terms of arts and culture organizations, I'm not sure that we'll see many open up their own storefronts, but I definitely think that we could tap into the purchasing power of Gen Z on the platform through using organic video content and advertising what you might have on offer. We already see many companies doing this really well. So Waterstones is a great example of a company that has quite a big following, and they advertise their books on the platform. And I did also see the other day that the Barbican, for example, has put up a couple of products on there, and that they're showcasing what they have to offer around Christmas. And now I think we're moving on to our final trend from Raf.
Thanks, Fiz. I'm a European white male, middle age, have grey hair and beard, and I'm wearing a green jumper today. I'm here to talk about one of the trends in design this year. There's always many trends in design, and it's hard to pick one. But the one that resonates with us this year is bold minimalism. And I will be showing you a few slides of examples of what that means. So bold minimalism is every element in bold minimalism serves a purpose. So we strip the unnecessary and find a balance between clarity and impact. Simplicity doesn't necessarily mean playing it safe, because this new take on minimalism combines clean compositions with bold elements. So basically, on the one side, we have minimalist websites that prioritize clean layouts that lead to fast loading times and easy navigation. On the other side, maximalist websites are more playful and engaging. So bold minimalism brings the two together, combines the two approaches, and comes with a purpose, removing the unnecessary to reveal the essence of your message without sacrificing impact and playfulness. So in short, there are 4 principles that can be summarized. Well, the principles can be summarized in 4 points. Simplification: by simplifying visual compositions, we can create a memorable design and that are easy to understand. Contrast: through the use of color, typography, and scale, contrast helps draw attention to key elements and create visual interest. Typography: by using clean, bold fonts that make a statement. And finally, negative space or white space that creates a sense of balance, focus, allowing the viewer's eye to navigate without being overwhelmed. We see this trend almost everywhere nowadays. So PayPal's new rebrand with its chunky lettering, Nike's latest campaign using single words that fill entire walls, or campaigns in general that leave a mark by the use of design and language. I've been given another trend, which is not really a trend, but it is the color of the year. We've done it a few times, and we like it this time because Pantone has just announced, well, a few days ago, has announced the color of the year. But a few days before the announcement, the Pantone community was asked to give their predictions, and you can see the results in this graph. 30% thought it was green, but were they right?
I can't help but think, Raf, that they were influenced by the Wicked movie, in the way that was it last year, Barbie pink was the color.
Yes, exactly. I have another take on the green, but I will tell you later.
Okay.
So it turns out that only 13% of the predictions were right. So if we see the next slide, so it's Mocha Mousse, which is basically, it's the color of the year. It's basically a shade of brown, and we can expect it to see more often in design, fashion, interiors, and so on. Actually, though, not everyone was that happy with this choice. On social media, there was an outburst of disappointed comments, and some of them were quite funny. Things like, "We went back to the 70s couch," or "Is that an ad for a chocolate brand?" Sad beigeification. And this is where, the Wicked thingy comes in. The fact that it's not brat green is a crime. So this is where, the green comes in. Plus quite a few of those brown emojis that I'm not going to mention. There were also happy comments, though, because this color reflects the connection with nature and the drive towards diversity.
I think I saw in the comments, Mark asked, what country do the statistics come from? If I remember rightly, this is a global panel, is that right? Yeah. So
yes, it's right. So Pantone is this provides a universal color language for the industry, and it is global. It's universal. Yeah.
And it's based on a whole criteria of influences, I guess, that they've.
I think so. I mean, also algorithms, but also they have a quite an extensive research putting together mood boards from all over the industry, not just design, but fashion, interior design, manufacturing, and so on. And to be honest, we've all seen quite a lot of beige this year around already. So that's going to be even more pronounced next year, I think.
Yeah, I think I've seen. We're doing up our bathroom, and so I've been looking at a few magazines, and definitely those sort of colours have been coming in as well. And remind me, Raf, what was the colour last year? What was the Pantone colour last year?
It was something called peach.
It was a peach. Yes, that's coming back to me. Yes.
Yeah, they always give these weird names. It was something peachy. I don't think it was very successful as a prediction, as people say. But yeah, it was more of a peach fuzz. Yannick, thank you for reminding us.
Thank you for that. So that is our 12 trends plus our bonus. We're going to ask you to share what you think as a group. There's 122 people here today plus, so it'd be good to see collectively what our instinct is telling us, what what we think. So were there some trends there that that resonated with you? Have there been trends that you've been hearing about that you think is going to be big next year? Is there something you want to learn more about that you think you're going to include in strategies next year? We're going to do an active poll now. So if you've got your phones to hand and you can scan in the QR code, it will take you to a page. Or you can go to a browser and type in slido.com and put in that number. And then I want you to put in a one-word, ideally, summary, accessibility, already coming in, of what you think are going to be the hot topics, the things that you're going to be focused on, the things that you're going to see as trends next year. Please continue putting those in. We'll leave that slide up there, Kay, for the moment, but maybe we can put in the links to what's coming up in our webinar next year. We've got 3 things to share with you. And we've got webinars coming up next year. We start off in January, if I remember rightly, with, how to brief for a new website. So there are lots of consultants and people who help write web briefs. We're getting some excellent web briefs around these days, but we're going to do a session on what a web company might want to see in a web brief. So that's our January one. We have got, I've forgotten the one in, let me just check what the one in February is.
It's TikTok success stories in
TikTok success. Thank you, Phoebe. Yeah, and just to say, TikTok can be has been our most popular session back in January 23, I think, and we've done TikTok ones since then. So they tend to be really popular sessions. We'll leave this up as your, I think it's coming to an end now, but thank you again for submitting your suggestions. We'll share this again in the webinar recording that we'll put up on the website. But for now, I will thank you to the HDK team for putting together their suggestions at a very busy time of the year for us. So thank you to the team. Thank you everyone who has been participating in today's webinar. We really enjoy your engagement there. And we want to wish you fond season greetings for this time of year and hope to see you again in a future webinar next year in 2025. So thank you everyone. See you again soon.